There's a new CRA rule coming in 2026 that could affect millions of Canadians, and when it hits, most of you will not be able to find anyone to help you deal with it. Not your accountant, not the CRA, not anyone unless you're willing to pay hundreds or sometimes thousands of dollars per year. I'm going to tell you what the rule is, why the people you normally turn to are already saying no, and what that means for your family. The rule is something called a bare trust, and you'd probably have one without knowing it. If your name is on a bank account that belongs to your parent, that's a bare trust. If you're on a title for a sibling's property because you helped them qualify for a mortgage, bare trust. If you have an investment account in your name for your kid that's grown past $50,000, bare trust. Your name is on it, someone else is the real owner. CRA now wants you to file a special full tax return every single year for every single one of them. I have covered the penalties in my other videos, links below. They are severe and insane. But today I'm going to show you something worse. What happens when you actually try to comply with this rule? So you find out you have a bare trust, you do the responsible thing, you call your accountant, the person who does your taxes every year. They say, we don't do that. They're not being difficult. Here's what's happening. Your accountant files your personal returns, maybe corporate returns. That's their world. A bare trust returns requires a completely different tax return called T3. Different forms, different rules, different software. Most personal tax accounts have never even filed one. And the software isn't cheap. If they're going to file a handful of the bare trust returns, it doesn't make any business sense for them to buy it. So they tell you, find someone else who handles the trust. That's door number one, closed. So you think, fine, I'll do it myself. How hard can it be? You could technically do it. CRA publishes a trust guide on their website. The T3 form and the Schedule 15 are fully downloadable, but the guide is over 50 pages long, written for tax professionals, and covers every type of trust in Canada. You'd have to figure out which parts apply to your bare trust, complete Schedule 15 correctly with social insurance numbers, date of births, and addresses for everyone involved, and make sure you get it right, because the penalties for getting it wrong are severe. And if you want to file electronically, which is how most returns are filed these days, you'd need professional e-file software with a T3 module. That costs hundreds of dollars per year, and you need to know how to use it. CRA's idea of help is 50-page guide written for accountants. Most people are not going to be able to do this on their own. That's door number two. So you start calling specialist firms, accounting firms, firms that have actually filed trust returns before. Here's the problem. The bare trust return deadline is 90 days after the year end. That's March 30th. Do you know what else is due in March and April? Every personal tax return in this country. Some corporate tax returns are due at that time too. And every trust return that is already existing before bare trust were a thing. This is the busiest time of the year for every accounting firm in Canada. And now CRA wants to drop potentially hundreds of thousands of brand new bare trust returns, all due in the same window. The specialist firms that can file T3 returns, they're going to be overwhelmed. Some aren't even taking new clients. The ones that are, they're going to charge more. That's door number three. So you call CRA directly. You say, I think I might have a bare trust. Can you tell me if I need to file? They say, we can't advise you on that. Determining whether your arrangement is a bare trust is a question of fact and law. They created the rule, they set the penalty, they will not tell you if it applies to you. Door number four. Now, I am going to tell you something from the other side of this, because I am an accountant and I understand why these firms are saying no. And it's deeper than just software and deadlines. Every other return your accountant files has a purpose. Your personal tax return, there's a refund. There are credits. There's real income to report. Your corporate tax return, real business, real activities, real deductions, real tax planning that can actually save you money. Your accountant is solving a problem. They're helping you. A bare trust return has none of that. There's no tax to calculate, no deductions, no strategy, no refund, Your accountant is simply filling out tax returns to tell CRA you owe zero money and telling them details of your relationship to the property that's under bare trust. And then they charge you, let's say, about $600 per arrangement for it every single year. You will get nothing out of that. And your accountant knows you get nothing from that. And next year, when the bill comes to you again, another $600 or so for the same tax return that produces same nothing, you start to resent them. And that's not your accountant's fault. It's not your fault, but the relationship takes the hit because you're paying every year for work that adds zero value to your life. No accountant wants that. And this is not why anyone got into this profession. And on top of that, there's a real liability for them. CRA is potentially asking accountants to make legal determination whether your arrangement is a bare trust. Accountants are not lawyers, but if they get it wrong, if they file and CRA says it wasn't a bare trust, or they don't file and CRA says it was, they are now potentially on the hook for thousands of dollars for every single client. And to even figure that out, they need to ask every client, who is on your bank account? Who is on your properties? Do you hold anything for anyone else? Clients don't volunteer this information. Most people don't even think about it. High risk, no value, busiest time of the year for them, softwares they potentially don't own, for a form that produces zero tax. Can you blame them for saying no? So here's where this leaves you. In my last video, I showed you a family spending approximately $1,800 to comply with this rule per year and facing potentially $72,000 in penalties if they don't. Now imagine that family picks up the phones and nobody will take the call. This is what's coming in 2026 for thousands of Canadian families. The people who need help the most, families with informal arrangements they never documented, are going to be the ones who can't get it. And the people this rule was designed to catch, money launderers, tax evaders, criminals, they're going to have compliance teams on retainers. This does not touch them. The bill currently is sitting in the Senate right now. It has not become law yet. There is still time to push back. In the description of this video, there's a petition. You can sign it. It takes 30 seconds. There is also a letter template you can download and send it directly to your member of parliament. But the most important thing you can do right now is to share this video. Send it to your parents, send it to your siblings, send it to anyone whose name is on something that belongs to someone else, because they need to know this rule isn't just expensive. It might be impossible to comply with. CRA has built a rule that families can't understand, accountants can't deliver, and no one asked for. Sign the petition, share this video. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.